Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the QI, but before I get into that, there's just a few things I want to go over. So, when you're building the business, you actually want to build fast, proper growth, right? You want to chase structure and build volume, because if you chase structure and you chase volume, you're going to get neither, right? The wolf that chases two rabbits catches neither, right? So you want to chase structure, and through the structure, you're going to build volume, okay? Um, and another thing, you want to build from a position of strength, not weakness, right? So building from a position of strength is when you have more legs available than you more legs available to work than you do time to give, right? Because then everyone's always working for your time, right? They have to be of value for you to put time into them, right? And it also allows you to put yourself in a position where you're most able to be effective, basically, all right? And operating from a position of weakness is more when you have more time than you do legs to put it in, and you're basically just trying to make something happen out of nothing, right? So now into the QI, right? So the QI is it's a quality invitation. Usually it happens after the first contact, and the aim of it is to get them into a follow up meeting, right? Into a plan, sorry. So the plan is either a one on one, an in home, or a group or an open meeting, right? Um, so the analogy I like to use with contacting and the QI is that imagine you're a scout for a college sports program, right? It's usually quite an emotionless position. So you got scouts, coaches, and players. The scouts are the ones that go around the country, right? They'll go around to different parts of the country, looking at talent and seeing if it's a good fit, right, for the team. Um, and so as a scout, you run into a lot of players with bad attitude who just you'll come watch their games, right? You'll come up to them at the end and you'll be like, "Hey man, like, that was a really great game. Good job." And they'll be like, "Yeah, thanks. I know. Like, what do you mean?" And then you'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm actually like with LSU. Like, I was just here scouting." He's just like, "I don't really care who you're with, bro." Like, you're not gonna bring that person back for the coach, are you? Like, they just have a bad attitude, and they're gonna infect the team pretty much with their bad attitude. And then of course you get the people that just aren't looking to play college sports, don't you? So those are the people that are like, oh, like I don't really have any intentions of doing that. I just want to work like a normal job, and. And so it's very common to add, and when we're doing the QI and when we're contacting, this is like literally what we're doing. Like we're filtering out the people with the bad attitude and the no's, right, to find the people that are the right fit for the team. Um, and it's common. It is very common for us to be put off by the ones with the bad attitudes and the no's. But when that happens, I kind of think of like the dollar analogy, right? So say you're in Australia, and you go overseas to like France or something, right? But you forget to get your money like converted into like euros or whatever. Um, so you go up to a coffee shop in France and you're just like, oh, could I use this? Could I? And you give them like Australian money, right? When they say no, you aren't just going to be like, well, this doesn't have value anymore. I'm just going to throw it away, right? And that can be what kind of happens with when you get put off by the no's, right? Someone will tell you no, and you'll be like, well, does it even have value now? But do you realize how silly that is? Because just because someone wasn't looking or had the wrong attitude doesn't mean what you have is of no value, right? It's ridiculous that you could draw a correlation between the two, right? But it is common and it does happen. But it's important to remember that their perspective on what you have doesn't determine the outcome of what you have. Um, so now into the QI bit. So basically in the QI, the end goal is to book them into a home meeting or a group meeting, which I've already said. And then from there, the plan gets shown, and then you're going to book a follow up, right? So it starts with so basically it starts with I'm going to be sharing a few of our key philosophies, okay? And given we connect on at least two, I'm going to get you into an open meeting where they'll run through everything in great detail, okay? But before that can even begin to make sense, we need to run through a few things, and you need to tell me which of the two philosophies you identify with the most, okay? So the first one is passive versus active income. So passive income is like your investments, but we actually use something that's called business systems, right? I'll get into that later. And then the other form of income is actually active income. So that's like your traditional business owners where you're putting in time to get money back out, your typical job where you're just like you're selling your time basically. But passive income is more you're making the money work for you, so you get the time back. Okay. Another one of the philosophies is revenue sharing. So basically, there's all these costs associated with manufacturers getting their products to the store, and by going online, they avoid a lot of these costs. But they need someone to help them get online, right? And that's where we come in. So we basically help these brands and these products launch online, and they let us share in the revenue for that, right? Um, so another thing is we work on a few income projects at the moment. So one of them is a 50K a year project, and that's typically in a 10 to 12 month time frame. The second income project is a lot more commitment though. But it's 150K a year, and that's residual, which is the same thing as passive. Okay, so that's gonna stay once you've done the work. And then so I'll usually ask, so which of the two philosophies do you identify with the most, right? They'll say something, and then they'll pretty much always say, well, I identify with the residual income thing, right? Like the passive income. Um, and so I'll usually say, oh, well, like the $50,000, right? So what changes with that kind of money for you? And then whatever they say, you basically just say, well, that's a great goal, John. That's something I can really get on board with, all right? And then you book them in for the open meeting. And so basically you run through a few things for the open meeting. You tell them the dress attire, so it's smart casual. You tell them that they're going to go through everything in greater detail, and for them, they have to make a list of 3 to 5 things that really jump out at them, okay? And we're going to discuss those things in the follow-up meeting after the open meeting, okay? So yeah, I tell them we're going to reconnect in a couple of days after the meeting, and we're going to go over those points and see what we can do about achieving those goals, okay? So yeah, that's basically how you do a QI, right? Yeah, I think that's everything I have for today. But yeah, just remember when you're building the business, you always want to you always want to build structure, and you always want to chase structure and build volume. Okay, that is an extremely important thing. And yeah, thanks for everything today, guys. See you next time.